Hello and welcome to Coffee with Dr. Carla. I'm Dr. Carla and I'm really glad that you're here with me today. And today my goal is to talk about some mental health related issues and hopefully begin to end the stigma surrounding them. I want to share a little bit of my story, a current piece of it. I'm always reaching out, trying to get people to share their stories with me, so thought I would be transparent and start sharing some of my story with you all. But the piece that I want to share with you today has to do with my, sugar addiction and then ongoing issues around my diabetes. And so while I was finally able to get back on track as of midnight, January 1st, 2021. So now we're on 2 years, almost 6 months of sobriety, back to the doctors, doing everything that I need to do, really towing the line, even being more mindful about like starches in my diet, the whole 9 yards. When I finally went back to the doctor and I finally got back on track with all the normal testing that one does when they have diabetes, my A1C was at, I think it was like 13.8. So yeah, don't fall off your chair. It's horrible. Yes, we want it somewhere around 6. So yes, we're talking more than double than what it's supposed to be. Triglycerides and all that other stuff that shows up with that, they were higher, but not they weren't as high. With an A1C at 13.8, you would expect the triglycerides to be 800-900, and it wasn't. Mine was just a little over 250, so they were high for that, but they weren't high necessarily in relationship to that A1C. So their thing was, well, let's take a moment and see. You haven't been back on your meds long enough to see whether or not how this is going to turn around. And so I said, okay. So it dropped pretty substantially into the 8s, and so that was really good. And then last October, last summer, I was like at 8.8 or something like that, and then last October, my A1C was at 7.7. Now, I had hoped for it to go down more than that at that time, so I was frustrated at that point. However, at the end of the day, it was at least going down. My next appointment with my diabetes doctor was supposed to be in 3 months, but unfortunately there wasn't an opening until this last May. So here we are almost, October, talking about 7 months later, and I'm thinking I'm still working hard. I'm already at 7.7, so by no means am I going to be perhaps at 6, but I should be at the low 7s easily, maybe even if we wanted to get really crazy and hope for a 6.9 or something like that. And I get my test results back, and it's at 8.4. And so this is the point in the stages of change where you're maintaining, and something happens to disrupt that apple cart. And this is where people relapse. Now, I did not relapse. I did not go back on abusing sugar, but I'm going to tell you, my thought was, if I'm doing everything right, if I'm killing myself trying to make this right, and my sugars go up, then why the hell shouldn't I use? Why not? What's the difference? Using, not using, it's not making any difference, right? Also, in the meantime, we are now discovering that neuropathy is happening in my feet. So there's two basic kinds of neuropathy. One has to do with temperature. So a lot of times when there's poor circulation to the extremities, hands and feet, you'll feel that your hands get or your feet get really cold really fast, and it's hard to warm them up. I have that, but that's something that can be reversed with better circulation. But I also have the kind of neuropathy that deals with nerve damage. And when you damage your nerves, they don't necessarily grow back, right? And so I'm getting a lot of feedback saying that we can create new neural pathways. So while the old ones might die, we can still create new neural pathways. So, don't give up hope. But now I have to add to my regimen every 3 months to go to the podiatrist to make sure that my neuropathy doesn't change from a mild moderate status to moderate status or worse, right? I now have to do a different type of foot check every single day than I was before. I now can't walk around barefoot, things to that nature. I now have to make sure that I don't do something weird to my foot and accidentally break it and not know that I broke it, which seems insane to me, but this is what happens. These are all of the elements that come with diabetes as it progresses. And diabetes is a progressive disease. It doesn't just sit around and play nice. And I fought my doctor for a long time about going on insulin because I was on so many different oral medications that I couldn't fathom, if I'm on this much meds, why isn't there change? Why aren't things going sideways? Or why are things going sideways? Why aren't things going the way they're supposed to go? The other big argument we had was about me checking my sugars every morning. And I said I refuse to check my sugars because every morning my fasting glucose would be 250. On a good day, it'd be 180. And, typical range should be between 85 and 115. So it was, and who wants to start their day being angry, being pissed off? And so this last May, when this all came down, I realized that I couldn't, I felt defeated, right? I had to give in to stuff that I didn't want to give in to. And my fight about going on insulin is that in the past when I've tried it, I become insulin resistant pretty fast. And so I shared that with her and whatnot. At the end of the day, we are in the process of using a different long-acting insulin that I had not used before. And instead of me checking my glucose every morning, I'm now on a continuous read, so I'm permanently attached to a monitor, which is a little bit better because I don't have to actively do it and then become upset about it. I say all of this because at the end of the day, right, I still struggle with adding these pieces because there's a strong part of me that doesn't know if it's going to be enough, right, if it's going to work. And I still walk around struggling with the fact that if none of this is working, why can't I have that ice cream sandwich? Right. Now, I've done a good job over the last 2.5 years of training my grandchildren and my family and my friends that ice cream is not my friend, cookies are not my friends. I walk around a lot of times saying this out loud. The grandkids will go and grab ice cream and they'll say, I really wish ice cream was nice to you. And I'm like, me too. And so there's a lot of accountability there. But I also know how easy it would be to hide it. It wouldn't take but a minute. There's plenty of time where I could walk out of this office and down the street to Jewel and get myself an ice cream sandwich, and by the time I got back, it was gone. No one would see it, right? Super easy to fall into that relapse. And so far I haven't. And I hope to stay that way. And when I talk to my doctor, I'm very honest with her about my addiction. And when things aren't going in the right direction, I acknowledge the fact that as an addict, we are liars, and we will spin the story however it suits us. At this point, I'm not lying to her like I have in the past, and hopefully she really believes me. I can't blame her for perhaps not, but I know that I'm doing what's right. And so this frustration is a big part of the, I guess, the recovery journey, because at the end of the day, all my days are not going to be perfect, and maybe I'll get the diabetes on track, maybe I won't, but I still have a choice whether or not I'm going to use. And right now, I'm choosing not to. Hopefully that will be the choice moving forward. And so if you're dealing with anything like this, where you're feeling conflicted, or you're having a hard time staying on course that you know is best for you, please reach out and get help. Please, there's so many different places that you can get help. Just reach out and get some help. So remember, you can change your thoughts, discover your potential, and transform your life by focusing on your overall well-being. So until next time, keep working on being the best you possible. Bye.